Former special counsel and radical anti-Trumper Jack Smith is just a couple of weeks from being in the hot seat. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan today announcing a subpoena for Jack Smith for his oversight of Arctic frost, the sham investigation into President Trump and Republicans. President Trump today was asked about Jack Smith's subpoena.
Jack Smith is a thug. He's a failed prosecutor. He's a bad man. He's an evil man. He hurt a lot of people. Forget about me. He's a sick man. There's something wrong with him, actually. I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the questions.
That's one of the things I was going to go for here. So it looks like he has to turn documents over by December 12th, and then he's going to appear behind closed doors for a deposition December 17th. Is this predicate, Daniel, do you think, for them to then have him for a public hearing? Because we know there's senators that do want him to be out in the open. They want to have the Watergate-style hearings over Arctic frost.
He's actually signaled an openness to answering questions in public. There was weeks of negotiations for him to do so. They actually, congressional Republicans rejected that, and they want to do this subpoena. But I think we'll probably see a public hearing at one point. I think that he wants to get his message out there, and it almost benefits both sides so that Americans can judge, oh, who's telling the truth, who's in the right here.
TW, I think I was talking to Senator Schmidt, and he said something about how they want to get all the information they can before they have him publicly, obviously, because, right now he knows everything. They want to know what he knows. To that effect, do you think that's a good strategy? The other thing that I think Chairman Jim Jordan spoke to me about previously when I asked him if he was going to subpoena Jack Smith, he had said that the tactics some of his lawyers used with when they were communicating with lawyers that were representing Trump and the administration, Trump allies, trying to say, oh, what about that judgeship you were interested in? I didn't know you were a Trump guy. I mean, that kind of sounds a little bit like bribery.
Yeah, well, first of all, doesn't it feel so good to live in a post-witch hunt America, right? We saw for 4 years just witch hunt after the witch hunt after witch hunt, and now we're seeing for the first time somebody who's actually going to be held accountable for these witch hunts. And I mean, the thing about Jack Smith, that again, it would all come to light, but the way that he dragged the prosecution, the case through courts for years during an election, it was clearly politically motivated. And I'm so glad that finally, as my wife likes to say, the best disinfectant is a little sunlight. And that's exactly what we need. So we can do all the behind the doors hearings to get the information, but the American people need to see and know exactly what happened, because this is outrageous. I think the president is exactly right. Something's wrong with this guy.
Some of the tactics I thought was just troubling. That's why I wrote my book about all the Trump cases.
Where do we get your book,
Yes,
Alex?
What's it called?
Amazon,
There's a book?
Lawfare. You can go to Target, Barnes & Noble, anywhere. Great Christmas gift.
Signed copy.
It'll fit in stockings. Thank you, Mercy. I was going to go to you, Mercy. Actually, my next question was, he pursued gag orders on the president when he was running for re-election. And that was one of the things that I write about in the book that I found so troubling, that in America, we don't silence our opponents. That's not how we defeat them. We don't try to jail them. We go to the ballot box, right? And it looks like that's what this tactic was.
I'm glad that the Trump administration is not trying to go after, Letitia James and James Comey.
Well,
okay, let's remember.
We'll get there.
Okay, Letitia James, Fonnie Willis. I mean, these
Alvin Bragg.
Thank you, and Jack Smith. These are a cast of characters that honed in specifically to destroy Donald Trump. And that is exactly what we have seen with Jack Smith.
Yes.
And the other one they really should bring for a public hearing? Judge Boasberg.
Yes.
So he was also involved in the Arctic frost situation as well. So, in the fact of saying, yes, go ahead and take the cell phones from, information from the Republicans. There was no Democrats there. I mean, it just shows that Jack Smith, who has been a failure, he failed when he went after the former governor of Virginia. In any of these cases, he has failed time and time again. And his whole thing has been, how do I take, in this case, Donald Trump down? And we as the American people, the taxpayers, deserve to know what Jack Smith was really trying to do.
They funded that investigation. To the whole gag order issue, I think I counted like almost 90 campaign rallies the president had to do while under these gag orders, while facing 4 criminal prosecution indictments in the span of 4 months.